Good evening. Good evening, family. How are y'all doing tonight? I just want to start off by saying that I'm certain that everyone who made the decision to overfill this room tonight knew that we were going to have a good time. As soon as y'all read that flyer that said 10 years of getting shit done. Because we can all relate to how hard it is to get some shit done. And after everything that Jumpstart has accomplished, honestly, it might be an understatement. So first, we would like to welcome everyone here to Jumpstart Germantown's 10-year anniversary celebration. This evening, we are beyond honored to be joined by two powerhouse leaders who know what it means to show up for communities, Governor Josh Shapiro and Mayor Sherrell Parker. I'm going to say thank you to both of them for their commitment to real grassroots change. And to all of our elected officials, community partners, developers, mentors, supporters in the room, thank you. Your presence tonight says something loud and clear. This work matters. My name is Camille Pearsall. I stand here as a 2018 Jumpstart graduate, a mentor, and an inspector. But more importantly, as a living example of what happens when knowledge, community, and access collides in just the right way. Before Jumpstart, I owned 2 investment properties. I had grit, I had work ethic, I even had experience as a contractor, but what I didn't have were the connections, the confidence, or the financial structure to scale. Jumpstart changed that, and it didn't just change my business, it changed my life. Because just like many of you in this room, I had to navigate through this industry during some incredibly difficult seasons, personally and economically. I built through uncertainty of the pandemic. I built while I was grieving. I built while I was raising 2 daughters. I did all of these things on my own, and still I kept building because I was never alone. That's the Jumpstart difference. It's not just the loan. It's not just the spreadsheets and the scope of work templates. It's the people who take your call. It's the mentors who remind you that you can do it. It's the foundation to build a successful real estate portfolio. It's the community that says, hey, slow down, wait a second. I've been there. Let me help you not make the same mistakes. Recently, I was having lunch with 2 investors from my community, and they shared their Jumpstart experience with me. And they spoke about how the program changed the trajectory of their real estate journey. Keep in mind, these were folks with talent. They had tools. They had time in the game. They didn't need to be told how to rehab a property. What they needed was a door that wasn't locked. See, they had everything but access. Other lenders wouldn't touch their projects, not because they weren't viable, but because those lenders, they didn't understand. They didn't understand our neighborhoods. They didn't see the potential. They didn't have that Philly spirit. But Jumpstart, they said yes. Jumpstart said, you know this block. You grew up here. You care about what happens here. You should be the one rebuilding it. Jumpstart changed the game because they had a different approach. I would say a mindset shift in comparison to other lenders. They had faith in local people to lead local change. And that's what makes this program different. Let's all be honest. The funding is critical, but it's the mentoring, the accountability, and the community that makes it sustainable. Jumpstart helps us see the power of local developers, people who understand the block, who live in the zip codes, who want to bring grandma's house back to life with pride, not displacement. I've said it before, real estate is just not about the bricks and mortar, it's about dignity, wealth, and ownership, and who gets to have it. Jumpstart doesn't teach people Jumpstart doesn't teach people just how to fix up homes. It gives them the tools to transform lives block by block. And we're not done yet. This room is full of folks of people who don't wait around and ask for permission. We build, we hustle, we call each other when we find out about new opportunities. We all speak a common language. We send each other random pictures of wiring, plumbing, and HVAC. And say, you think that's gonna pass inspecting? What that inspector will say about that? But most of all, we show up because that's what community looks like. And that's why we're all here tonight, not just to look back at 10 years, but to commit to the next 10 and beyond. To everyone in this room, graduates, mentors, funders, elected leaders, thank you for believing in this mission. To the staff and leadership, thank you for sticking to your values and investing in real people with real dreams. To those of you in this audience wondering if you belong here, I promise you do. Jumpstart shows us that we don't need to wait for someone to come save our neighborhoods. We can do it ourselves, together. And now, I want you to hear from some others who've walked this path too. The following short film was created by Mark Nesbitt, a proud Jumpstart graduate and developer. His work captures exactly why this program is so special and so necessary. So sit back, enjoy, and remember, this just isn't a celebration of what we've done. It's a reminder that when we put our heads, hearts, and hammers together, we get shit done.
Where's Mark Nesbitt? Mark? Thank you for producing this video. Thank you for giving back to the Jumpstart community. And thanks, Camille, for your leadership that you've shown in the real estate development world and for getting us started this evening. I'm Ken Weinstein, founder of Jumpstart Germantown, Jumpstart Philly. I'm also president of Philly Office Retail. We are mission-oriented real estate developers focusing on the adaptive reuse of properties. I see a lot of Jumpstart grads in the room, which is very exciting. I see borrowers, organizers, mentors, instructors, and a lot of other supporters. Thank you all for being here. I know that there's hundreds of others, some of them in the overflow room upstairs, some of them at home watching on Zoom. You gotta love technology, right? I want to acknowledge several special guests who are with us here tonight. First, my wife. My wife, Judy, my best friend, my fervent supporter, and yes, my biggest critic. Jumpstart doesn't happen without Judy. Without Judy, we'd also be talking about getting shit done tonight instead of getting it done tonight. We also have Noah here and Ellie, 2 out of my 3 kids. So thank you. Noah surprised me this morning by coming in from LA, which is pretty cool. Thanks to my Philly office retail staff. You raise your hands. And in particular, I want to recognize Angie and Derek. I see Derek here. Angie's out there trying to get our attention. As usual, she's working. They put this event together tonight. They run Jumpstart flawlessly. For those of you in Jumpstart, you know them well. Thanks to a bunch of public officials in the room tonight. I know that Councilwoman Rue Landau is going to be joining us in a little bit. I don't think she's here yet. Kelvin Jeremiah. from PHA. Thank you. The brains behind the Home Initiative, Angela Brooks, Jesse Lawrence. Good to have you here. And I see Dave Thomas, PHDC. We worked together a lot of years. Thanks for being here. Big thank you. You always have to thank the money people, right? Big thank you to JP Morgan, the Reinvestment Fund, Tri-State Capital Bank, and LISC. You provide the lines of credit that fund the Jumpstart loan program. Your belief in me and Jumpstart helped hundreds of entrepreneurs remove blight from their own communities, so I appreciate you. And last but not least, all of you, Jumpstart grads, mentors, instructors, supporters, the people I've met through Jumpstart have become my close friends, colleagues, and partners. You continue to inspire me every day. I appreciate you. We're here this evening to celebrate the impact of Jumpstart Germantown and 10 years of getting it done, what our governor calls GSD. And let's be clear, Jumpstart has only been this successful, this impactful, because of all of you in this room. As they say, it takes a village. The Jumpstart philosophy is unique. As you know, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. We take a holistic approach to the 7 jump steps of real estate development and focus on reducing gentrification by building wealth locally through slow, steady growth, changing the face of real estate development by training mostly women and people of color, growing the pie by sharing resources and working with the community. That's not often done in the real estate development world. Reduce blight through scattered site rehab, promoting naturally occurring affordable housing, what my son calls NOAH, by focusing on our middle neighborhoods, a phrase Mayor Parker and our Congressman Dwight Evans coined years ago. I was listening to you. I want to take a step back and share how and why Jumpstart got started 10 years ago. Like most successful projects, it started over coffee. A lot of people would call and say, hey, would you sit down with me? I want to do what you do. Let's have coffee. Everyone wants to have coffee. There were so many local residents who wanted to create a nest egg for themselves and their families and make a difference in their own neighborhood. But something was missing. As Camille said, the knowledge, the mentorship, and the funding to make it happen. That's where Jumpstart stepped in. I knew firsthand that Germantown and Philly had an abundance of blighted properties. The first thing I noticed when I moved here to Philadelphia. And they were in need of renovation. I'd been working for nearly 4 decades to reduce blight, so recruiting other like-minded people to help battle blight was a no-brainer. As I tell my Jumpstarters, I get to call it quits when all vacant, deteriorated properties have been renovated. So you can say that Jumpstart's my retirement plan. I didn't wait for public funding or to go through a long planning process. 10 years ago, I called Inquirer reporter Al Heavens and said, hey, let's write a story about my plans to train and mentor others. And then I worked with a Drexel co-op student, Kevin Landis, to put together a curriculum sharing everything I knew, or some of everything I knew about community-focused real estate development. Kevin, by the way, was a server in my trolley car diner and came up to me one day after work and said, my co-op fell through yesterday. Do you have anything for me? And I said, well, actually, we just had this Inquirer article. I think we need to put this program together. So he came and joined our staff for 6 months. I saw the need to produce community-minded real estate developers, but didn't realize how much demand there actually was. So fast forward 10 years, we've graduated 1,669 people. And many of them in the room here today. from Jumpstart Germantown and lent out more than $61 million, $61 million. So Governor, it's not the $20 billion that Amazon is putting into Pennsylvania, but we've already put the $61 million in, so. And Angie assures me that we're going to get to 100 million in less than 4 years. We're holding you to that, Angie. And this fall, we'll host our 32nd Jumpstart Germantown training program with no end in sight. Every class fills up quickly. We make available twice monthly Jumpinars, think tanks, and networking events, and have offered Jumpstart 2.0 for those who are interested in commercial real estate. Angie and Derek also put together a Roxborough High School training program for future entrepreneurs, which is pretty cool. And 19 other Jumpstart programs have borrowed our free open source model to replicate our success in their communities. Today, you'll find Jumpstart programs in Florida, Indiana, 3 in Indiana, Delaware, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And many more like Chester, PA, and Northeast Philly are coming later this year. Thanks to our national recruiter and Jumpstart Wilmington founder, Deanna Sargent. Get up, Deanna. Who's here with us tonight. Thank you for all your help spreading the word around the country. We've been through a lot together. A devastating pandemic, rising interest rates, increased labor costs, well-meaning but sometimes expensive local regulations, and now misguided tariffs and illegal immigration raids in our workplace. But through it all, we've worked hard, we persevered, and we got it done. That's GSD, Governor. We removed blight from our neighborhoods. We created wealth locally while keeping gentrification at bay. And we focus on the reuse of existing housing stock in our middle neighborhoods. That's where the housing's most affordable. Every day, Jumpstart Germantown grads are swinging hammers, cleaning out blighted buildings, and putting the finishing touches on affordable homes for rent and for sale throughout the Philadelphia region and beyond. So thank you for being with us tonight to celebrate the positive impact of Jumpstart Germantown, its graduates, its borrowers, and its partners. So now to our special guests. It's especially wonderful to have both Mayor Cherelle Parker and Governor Josh Shapiro here with us tonight. Last time I hosted an event for these two wonderful people was more than 20 years ago. It's hard to believe. I had a lot more hair back then. Yeah. They were both running for state rep for the first time. It certainly wasn't my highest grossing political fundraiser, but I can now say it was my most impactful political event because of the quality of the elected officials that it produced. So this is a kind of a reunion of sorts. We're going to have Governor speak first. We're incredibly fortunate to be joined by someone who's been a champion of local entrepreneurs and small business owners, Governor Josh Shapiro. I've known Josh since before he ran for state rep in Abington. We enjoyed lots of good meals together at my trolley car diner at West Avenue Grill, Abington Arts Center. And he introduced me to lots of important people around the Philly area who I continue to work with today. I always appreciated that. Josh showed me the importance of being a connector. Governor Shapiro exemplifies leadership and getting it done. It's not well publicized, but when a section, or it's now well publicized, but when a section of I-95 collapsed, he got it reopened in 12 days. That's GSD. It's the kind of get-it-done attitude we teach in Jumpstart Germantown. So it's especially meaningful to have Josh with us here tonight. It's an honor to introduce my friend, Governor Josh Shapiro.
Thank you, my friend. Good evening. It is good to be in a place with good people doing good things. And I want you to know that I am here tonight to congratulate and commend Ken and Jumpstart on 10 years of getting stuff done. But I also wanted to be here tonight to get the chance to see all of you, those who give a damn about your community, those who are trying to lift yourselves and others up in the process. And I want you to know just how grateful I am to all of you. And so that's why I wanted to be here tonight. It's a special privilege for me to be here tonight with your 100th mayor, Madam Mayor, and my partner, Cherelle Parker. And I hope it is not lost on any of you that I use that word partner. You see, Cherelle and I have been partners, the mayor and I have been partners for 2 decades. And I think things work best when you work together. When the Commonwealth and the city come together to make progress. And we're doing that together, whether it's on education or on housing or on funding SEPTA or on so many other things. We are working together. You're blessed to have her as your mayor, and you'll hear from her next. You know, I feel privileged that I've known Judy and Ken and their family for 2 decades. I've seen the work that Ken has done. I've seen the way he uses his talent and his vision to not just build incredible buildings, but build incredible community that goes along with those buildings. And then for him to take that talent that he has and turn it into Jumpstart, and not just have him create community, but empower others to do the same, well, I'll tell you what, that is really inspiring. This organization is focused on going places that, let's be real, a whole lot of developers don't want to go, which is working in communities that, for too many, are left behind, get ignored. Ken doesn't see a community that doesn't warrant investment. He sees communities that demand investment and makes that righteous investment to create opportunity for so many others. This organization is committed to fostering and investing in aspiring entrepreneurs who come from the very communities that Jumpstart is investing in. And it's part of the work that we're all trying to do collectively in this city. It starts in our classrooms, making sure we give every child of God a foundation for opportunity. And as they find the thing that excites them, whether it's going out and being a developer or just being excited about fixing up their neighborhood, Jumpstart gives them an opportunity to succeed, to be their best selves, to draw on the lessons that they learn in our schools, at our rec centers, at our churches, and in so many other wonderful community organizations that do so much good. I wanted to be here tonight not just to thank and congratulate a friend of 20 years, but I wanted to be here tonight to lift up this organization that's having a real impact. I know at this moment in our world where everything feels kind of chaotic and noisy, and we got a whole bunch of clicktivists online, we've got to note that the people who are doing the real work, having a real impact, that they be celebrated, that you be celebrated, because you're the ones who are lifting up communities. You're not focused on tearing them down or just talking about stuff. You're actually getting stuff done. I want you to consider this. Since Jumpstart Germantown began, Ken and the team have trained more than 2,300 students to become first-time property investors and invested nearly $53 million into projects in the Philadelphia region. Let's just focus on those 2,300, the more than 2,000 people. These are 2,000 people that cared but maybe didn't have the resources or the know-how to make a difference. Ken and Jumpstart gave them those tools necessary to make a difference in their community. What's even more impressive is the way Ken and the team have taken this successful model in Germantown and expanded it, Madam Mayor, all across the city, and now it's becoming a model for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Think about how much better off we will be when you've got a kid in Erie, Pennsylvania, on the other side of this Commonwealth, who cares about their community, doesn't have access to capital, doesn't maybe have the know-how, notwithstanding the fact that they're trying, and they've got a model that Ken Weinstein started here in Philadelphia that can be scaled up for the rest of our Commonwealth. That's fundamental change. That's systematic change that creates opportunity and, importantly, builds generational wealth in communities that need it most. This is having an extraordinary impact here in Philadelphia and a model across the Commonwealth. I want you to know that what you're building here is becoming part of what we're trying to build across Pennsylvania. I think what's so impressive about this here in Jumpstart is something we want to replicate. That's why I asked Ken to join our housing action team as we've developed a statewide initiative to build more affordable housing and create more opportunity across Pennsylvania. And this isn't just talk. Ken and a group have worked together to put forth a plan that we've adopted at the state and that I'm funding in my state budget right now. So the work that's going on here in Germantown is now going to be lifted up across Pennsylvania. And understand, we're just one game in town. Madam Mayor put forth an auspicious, a bold agenda on housing. She'll talk about it. I don't have to, but I want you to know this is game-changing stuff that's going to get people out of poverty, put a roof over people's heads, put our buildings trades members to work, and help recapture and reclaim communities that have been too oftentimes left behind. We got to pass the mayor's budget and get her housing plan done. We want our work to complement it. That's why we've dramatically increased our funding for affordable housing across the Commonwealth. That's why I'm calling for a new fund to help poor folks get closing cost funds to be able to get into their house and not have that as a stumbling block. A $50 million fund we're putting together at the state level just to help people with housing repairs so they can stay in their home and aren't forced to move when the boiler breaks or there's a leaky roof or some windows that need to be repaired. The Commonwealth should fund that and help people stay in their homes. In addition to that, we're going to partner with our mayors, including Mayor Parker, to deal with homelessness in our cities across our Commonwealth. And hear me on this. It's not just about dollars and cents, it's also about common sense, which is why we're pushing legislation in the state to seal eviction records, especially when you don't get evicted. I want you to understand that here in Pennsylvania, if someone files a claim against you and you're not evicted, it stays on your record. That makes no, yeah, she says, what? It's true. It's true. And we're changing that at the state level. I need the legislature to come together and pass that reform. We need people to have opportunities in housing, not be forced to be left behind. Listen, I want you all to know that these things you work on every day are critically important. Your governor gives a damn about you and the work you're doing. Your mayor gives a damn about the work you're doing. And Ken Weinstein has helped lifted up this work and taken it to higher heights. You know, Ken's built a whole lot of big, beautiful buildings, a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great places for people to gather. I want to close by telling you about just one of those places. And maybe, Ken, it was the smallest one you ever built. After you helped me and Sherelle Parker become state representatives back then, and by the way, we both got to join Dwight Evans on the Appropriations Committee. Dwight taught us a whole lot, for better or worse. I think it's for better. Dwight one time tried to get us to raise taxes $9 trillion, right? The whole budget was $40 billion. He wanted like a $9 trillion tax increase. We weren't for that. But anyway, that's a story for another time. We love you, Dwight. But I was a new state representative. And one of the ways I got to be a state representative was I went around in my community, which at the time was overwhelmingly Republican. Nobody gave me a shot to win, but I knocked on 18,000 doors myself. I met my neighbors, and I listened to what they need in their community. And as I was knocking on doors in a community called Ardsley over in Abington, some of you may know where it is, I couldn't help but notice that at the SEPTA station, there was this sort of beat up, blighted building that folks kind of tossed trash by and never paid much attention to. I noticed that when I was knocking doors in that community, and I told the neighbors I was going to do something about that place if I got the chance to represent them. Well, I got the chance to represent them. We defied the odds and won that election. And one of the first things I did was go to SEPTA and said, let me have that building and do something with it. Small building right at this small train station. I went to Ken Weinstein and said, what can we do with this place? How do we make this into something? Ken got to work on it with us. We took that beat up, broken down Ardsley train station and we turned it into a local coffee shop and sandwich shop. We created commercial activity. I watched as people grabbed their coffee as they were getting on the train going in town for work. I also watched as people made that their meeting spot when they wanted to do stuff in their neighborhood. Ken didn't just help us build a building in Abington where I got to represent that community. Ken helped us build community. Wow. That place is still standing to this day. Wow. Other SEPTA stations have been repurposed into community centers and hubs of activity because of that model that we created at Ardsley. Ken got that done. The smallest building he probably ever worked on had the largest impact in this neighborhood that I was so fortunate to represent. I want you to know that that's the game-changing stuff that Ken's doing, that Jumpstart's doing, and that each and every one of you in this room have the potential for. Housing isn't just a roof over someone's head. It's dignity for that person. It's community for those neighbors. And you're building that. And you've been doing it for 10 years. So I'll close where I began. I want to say thank you to Ken Weinstein for the work he's done. I want to say thank you to all of you for lifting up communities, creating opportunities, helping people build generational wealth. And I want to say thank you for the differences that you are making in this community. I want you to know that I'm a person who leans on my faith for my work. My faith motivates me to serve. It calls me to serve. And there's a passage from my scripture I just want to close with and share with you. I'm not here to preach at you. There are plenty of other people who can do a better job than that. The mayor will do a better job than me than that. But here's what I will say. My scripture teaches me that no one is required to complete the task, but neither are we free to refrain from it. That means each of us has a responsibility to get off the sidelines, get in the game, and do our part. So when you look at that neighborhood with blight, when you look at that neighborhood that feels like maybe it's lost its purpose, you don't have to go fix up every building, but when you fix up one, you create an opportunity for that one family. And you motivate someone to fix up the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You make progress in your communities. You've gotten off the sidelines, you've gotten in the game, and you are doing your part, and we are all better off for it. And so from a grateful governor, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the work you've done over these last 10 years, and thank you for what I know you're going to do going forward. God bless you all. Thank you for your work. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you.
No, y'all better not laugh. What she was trying to do was put my fan near me. Your mayor's 53, and I need a fan sometimes. Listen, he had to leave. And he briefly mentioned it, but when you hear our governor mention the challenges that we face as a nation, as a commonwealth, and as a city on today, I'm telling you that we are much better off having a governor who knows how to get things done, and more importantly, is willing to work in partnership with the city of Philadelphia. You heard him mention SEPTA and mass transit. You heard him mention public education, and those two elements in particular are essential to the work that you do, because the houses that you acquire, that you get back onto the market, when people are scouting to see where they want to plant their seeds and their roots, two of the things that they think about the most are, one, if they don't drive, how do I get to and fro? If I have children, what school will they attend? Governor Josh Shapiro is making it happen for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we should give him a huge round of applause for it. Let me start by saying, Ken, thank you. I don't know what it was called. I was trying to remember, was it 3 after 30 or three under 30, Judy? But I was thinking about that listening to the governor. We were really young Turks. When I first got the opportunity to meet Ken, it was in a place and space where a lot of people may not know that he actually spent some time. And I worked for a lady who was my mentor and my teacher, Councilwoman Marion Tasco. Some of you may be familiar with her. Well, Ken also worked for a dynamic lady by the name of Happy Fernandez. Give the women who on whose shoulders we got to know the council that way. And that was extremely important. And because Ken was an early investor in believing in Young Turks, I don't know about you, but my grandmother would always tell me, don't forget the people who believe in you early on in the hour. And if Ken believed in me, rest assured, he doesn't make that decision without this influential lady right here, Judy. So give Judy a round of applause. I want to start by stating something that Congressman Dwight Evans would say to us when we were Young Turks. It's very simple, and it's what you all do. He would say, if you change the environment, you can change the behavior. If you can, I know it's very simple, right? Just think about that in action. If you change the environment, Councilmember Landau, you can change the behavior. I want to start there because I want you to know that although I am the mayor of the city of Philadelphia, and thank God that that budget did get first passage and it was able to make it through that first round, it ain't over till it's over. So give the City Council of Philadelphia a round of applause. And thank you, Councilmember Rulandau. We take nothing for granted. We take nothing for granted. But I do now in a very intentional way, and this is important to me, and I'm going to ask them to come up here and join me. The gentleman, you talked about the people who are at the heart of home. Home doesn't happen without the folks. And our strategy regarding the building of new and the preservation of existing for 30,000 units of housing in the city of Philadelphia is not a Sherelle Parker plan. It comes together with a whole bunch of like-minded folks who understand the assignment, and they are the implementers who are actually getting it done. The first person, if you don't know him, you better know him. His name is Dave Thomas, and he's been the heart of our institution. Come on up here with me, Dave, PhDC. The next person is our director for planning and development, and he's been around for many years. I know he looks youthful, but he's the leader of our efforts. That's Jesse Lawrence. Come on up, Jesse. What was the name of that fancy-pantsy organization you used to lead, Angela? What was it called? And the planning group. So we were trying to figure out who we were going to bring on. And for those of you who know me, I want the best and the brightest talent with me. So we found, what was it called? the American Planning Association, and she was in Chicago. And y'all know y'all mayor is a poacher. I want to get the best and the brightest talent no matter where they are. And we were able to get the former president of that national organization right here. Angela, come on up. Give her a huge round of applause. Amazing job. And this next person, it's really interesting. Ken, sometimes when people can't see the vision because they're so accustomed to thinking in silos, when we talked about 30,000 units, that was 30,000 plus 20, which actually means 50. Because aside from the work that we would do here in the city of Philadelphia, we had a partner who is essential to building affordable housing in the city of Philadelphia, and we would not be able to be this bold, quite frankly, and audacious in our model without the support of Kelvin Jeremiah. He's the trailblazing leader of PHA. Stand up, Kelvin Jeremiah. Ken, I am a first-generation college graduate in my family. First-generation Ivy League graduate in my family. My grandparents who raised me migrated from the South, met and married in North Philadelphia. When my teenage mother got pregnant with me at 16, the family would say, Dot and Lefty moved on uptown like the Jeffersons, okay? And listen, not in a super big, luxurious house, but in a row house on the 1900 block of Penfield Street. 1 bathroom on the 2nd floor, 3 bedrooms, a living room, dining room, and a kitchen. Grandmother proud of her furniture with that plastic on. Don't come in. Y'all know about plastic on living room? Okay. We had a porch. We had a driveway. Listen. You know what was in my community that was very clear and evident? A sense of hope, pride, and dignity in taking care of your bricks. So everything about this home plan, when you hear people talk about it, Ken, I want people to think about the menu of options that are available. And we were intentional in making sure that that menu of options were available because we want to be able to meet Philadelphians where they are. That's why we're so proud of the Jumpstart program. Jumpstart Germantown, Jumpstart Philly. I'm glad I'm no Johnny-come-lately supporter. I've been here and believed in this model for a long, long time because it helped to stabilize that thing called middle neighborhoods. Now, this is why you have to be mindful of this. I watched here in the city of Philadelphia, and I didn't know how to describe it for a long time. But when I became a member of the City Council of Philadelphia, it became very clear that we were engaging in the creation of public policy, Mo Rushdie, that would pit the have-nots against those who had just a little bit. This is what I mean. You heard the governor talk about the home repairs programs that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is investing in right now. Well, we have a BSRP program, and it's an amazing program, and Dave, we do amazing work through that program. But the problem was, if you decided that you wanted to come to Germantown and plant your seeds, or the 22nd Ward, 9th Ward, and 50th Ward, and have one of our row houses, and you went to work without anyone thinking just about the salary you made, but your debt-to-income ratio, how many children you had, the amount of student loan debt that you had on your balance sheet, you, because you went to work every day, would be ineligible most of the time to participate in the programs, and not because you were rich, but because you usually made a nickel over the income eligibility guidelines. What we are attempting to do via this home plan is to create options for the individuals who will live in the houses that the people in Jumpstart that you get back on the market. So what if someone goes into one of your houses and they decide, guess what? Maybe I want a new floor plan. Maybe I want to make some additions and some adjustments to the property. Now you can, one, of course you know about Philly First Home. Up to 6% of $10,000 closing costs and down payment assistance. You know about BSRP. You know about my other baby, Ken. Triple R, Restore, Repair, Renew. After you get the house, if you decide you want access to some capital, where are you going to go right now in the nation and get a loan for up to $50,000 with 10 years to pay it back, a 3% fixed interest rate, and a credit score as low as 580? You tell me, I'll wait. You can't go find that underwriting criteria anywhere else in the world. Why does this matter? And Ken, here's your genius. When I walked in the door, I said this to Ken as someone was talking, and I watched him watching the speaker, and I said, you must feel like a proud papa on today because this is the fruit of your labor. You were also, and I need to affirm this publicly, the first person to publicly, in this space, have conversations about the barriers to entry into this market in real estate. I don't even know if you remember saying this out loud. We were at a hearing in the City Council of Philadelphia, and you talked about potential Jumpstart Germantown participants who wanted to develop. They wanted to develop, but you said maybe they didn't have the social networks growing up that would connect them to folks who had access to making investments in them in what Della Clark would call patient capital, love capital. If you don't start the race of life in a place and space that gives you access to that, you are behind the 8 ball already. What you decided to do was to not just mentor, but to connect people to resources that are natural to others, but resources that you know if they would get access to it, if someone would teach them the business, someone would show them how to get through the city of Philadelphia's bureaucracy. What is it? I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. Right? I'm trying. Are we trying? Council member, teaching you the skills. I guess I'm so excited about Jumpstart Germantown. One, because I'm a teach me how to fish kind of girl. I would much prefer that you not ever give me anything, but give me access to the tools and the skills that I need to empower myself to execute, and then to be able to transfer that skill set to another generation that is coming. That's empowerment, Ken. So I want to thank you for, one, being the nucleus of growing the next generation of the development community and showing that people can be organic and grow from the ground up, and they can develop in the neighborhoods that they were naturally a part of, and they can do it decently and in order and in accordance with the rules, and they can help to change lives. I want to commit to each of you on today this. The final vote hasn't taken place. I keep looking at Councilmember Landau. The final vote hasn't taken place. But I commit to you that for the first time in the history of our city, with this amazing team here, folks like Mo Rushdie and so many others who are here on today, we are going to make good on our commitment. And it won't just be through word. With the dollars allocated for these programs, BSRP, BSRP Plus, Restore, Repair, Renew. Think about the rental assistance. I mean, that's a nationwide, highly regarded, quite frankly, awarded program that is being duplicated across the nation, and it started right here in the city of Philadelphia. She's not here, but give Councilmember Helen Gim a huge round of applause. We are continuing all of this work right now We need you to be engaged. We need you to think about when you come through. And my Jazz was on here. I don't know, I didn't mean to say it out loud. When I saw Jazz's picture, I said, that's my Jazz. When you see that, people that you know, who are organic, and you start one property at a time, Ken, one property at a time, someone teaching you about the nuts and the bolts. My only ask of each of you is this. Once you gain access to the skill, you can't just use your powers for good just for yourself. Please promise us that you will, in some way, shape, or form, connect people to resources. I don't know. I thought I saw Ira Goldstein from the reinvestment fund, who's here. I don't know if Greg Heller is here on today. But everything that we are connected to is the most powerful thing that you can do to empower a person, is to not give them anything except access to the information so that they can be self-sufficient and do for themselves. Happy 10-year anniversary, Jumpstart Germantown, a birthday. Jumpstart Philly, we love you. We love you. And the final thing I get an opportunity to say, and I don't know if you remember this. When I was in city council, I came up with this idea. Well, it really happened, Kim, because I got mad looking out my window on the 5th floor of City Hall, and I saw somebody drop trash after coming from a vendor. You all know where the clothespin is? So you know there are 2 vendors that have been there forever. So I don't know if the person got a pretzel or what, but he got it. And in between getting the pretzel, he takes it out of the bag and he's eating it, but he drops the paper on the ground. There was this difference. There was someone with a hat, a jacket, very nice uniform, and they had the grabbers, and they picked the trash up that this gentleman dropped and put it in the trash. And they were pulling the trash can. Light bulb went off in my mind. I said, Center City is not cleaner because people don't dump trash down here. They've been smart enough to make sure that it's someone's job to pick up the trash. And I came up with this idea. It's the only thing I let people know I was born in the 70s because I called the program PHLTCB, and only people born in the 70s know what TCB means. It was Philadelphia taking care of business, right? And Ken, you came down to the City Council of Philadelphia when we developed that program. We called for a $10 million transfer ordinance to develop the program across the city after we demonstrated proof of concept in the district that I represented. For those people you see now with uniforms on, with blowers, cleaning commercial corridors in neighborhoods across the city of Philadelphia, they came from that program. And Kim, when other people were laughing, saying it wasn't possible, we couldn't scale across the city what the Center City District and Paul Levy were doing downtown, you came and you testified in support of that legislation. So he's been testifying and supporting and using his voice and resources to help with making Philadelphia a better place for a long time, and for that we are grateful. Thank you all.